The date is May 23, 1999. The Kemper Arena in Kansas City is alive with anticipation for the over-the-edge pay-per-view. Fans are electrified, unaware that this night would forever stain professional wrestling history. Owen Hart, portraying his comedic blue blazer persona, prepares for a stunt that's intended to lower him from the rafters into the ring. A spectacle emblematic of Vince McMahon's penchant for theatrics. But something goes tragically wrong. The harness fails, sending Owen plummeting 78 feet to his death. The crowd is initially oblivious, believing it's part of the show. EMTs rush to the ring, but the devastation is real. Owen Hart dies just moments later. The show, however, continues. Vince McMahon's decision to press on with the event remains one of the most callous moves in wrestling history. Fans watched as matches resumed, as though one of the most beloved performers hadn't just lost his life in front of them. This indifference, this calculated prioritization of profit over humanity, was an insult not only to Owen's legacy, but to the grieving Hart family. The tragedy of Owen Hart's death reverberated throughout the wrestling world, yet Vince McMahon's focus remained on damage control rather than mourning or accountability. Wrestlers and fans alike expressed outrage. Owen was not just a performer, he was a husband, a father, and a beloved figure among his peers. The disrespectful decision to continue the event sent a clear message. The show must go on, no matter the cost. This callousness sowed seeds of mistrust and deepened the perception of Vince as a cold, calculating businessman who prioritized his empire above all else. This wasn't the first time Vince McMahon had disrespected a member of the Hart family. 2 years earlier, Bret the Hitman Hart found himself at the epicenter of the infamous Montreal Screw Job. Bret was the reigning champion, but tensions with Vince had reached a boiling point. Bret had signed a lucrative contract with World Championship Wrestling, and McMahon feared his departure would tarnish the federation's image. During Survivor Series in Bret's home country of Canada, the match was orchestrated to end with Shawn Michaels applying Bret's signature move, the sharpshooter. Despite Bret never tapping out, the referee called for the bell, awarding the match to Michaels. The betrayal played out in front of millions, and Bret, stunned, spit in Vince's face before punching him backstage. The screw job was a deliberate humiliation, an act that fractured trust and painted Vince as a manipulative puppeteer. For Bret, the screw job wasn't just a professional slight, it was deeply personal. He had given years of his life to the Federation, elevating the company with his technical prowess and dedication. Vince's decision to orchestrate such a disrespectful public betrayal was a stark reminder of the lengths he would go to protect his brand, even if it meant alienating one of his most loyal stars. The fallout from the Montreal Screw Job lingered for years, casting a shadow over Vince's reputation and leaving Bret with a bitter legacy. Manipulation also defined Vince McMahon's relationship with the Ultimate Warrior. After SummerSlam in 1991, McMahon suspended Warrior under dubious circumstances. The tension had been brewing as Warrior, feeling undervalued, had demanded higher pay and even threatened to no-show one of the Federation's marquee events. Vince acquiesced but later retaliated with a scathing suspension letter. The letter read, "You threatened to stay at home, thereby not even appearing at Titan's major summer pay-per-view event, SummerSlam. I had no choice but to accede to your exorbitant demands. This was a serious mistake on your part." Years later, the company produced a DVD titled The Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior, a spiteful compilation designed to tarnish Warrior's legacy. It was not merely a business decision, but a vindictive and disrespectful act that revealed Vince's propensity to settle scores through public humiliation. Warrior's story exemplifies the darker side of Vince's management style. Despite Warrior's undeniable popularity and his role in some of the Federation's most iconic moments, Vince treated him as disposable. The DVD was particularly egregious, painting Warrior as an unreliable and egotistical performer while ignoring his contributions to the company's success. This revisionist history not only disrespected Warrior but also misled fans, highlighting Vince's willingness to manipulate narratives to suit his agenda. Sid Justice, another towering and magnetic force in the wrestling world of the early 1990s, epitomized the archetype of a main event superstar. With his colossal 6'9" frame, menacing glare and explosive charisma, Sid seemed destined to dominate the Federation. Yet his tenure with Vince McMahon's company was clouded by unfulfilled promises and mounting frustrations. exposing the often precarious relationship between wrestlers and the Federation's brass. In 1991, Sid was at a career crossroads. World Championship Wrestling dangled a lucrative $750,000 contract, triple his Federation salary, tempting him to defect. Vince McMahon, recognizing Sid's potential as a marquee attraction, convinced him to stay, promising a hefty WrestleMania 8 payday and a push as a top star. This assurance led to a colossal main event clash with Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 8, a spectacle that solidified Sid as a formidable rival to wrestling's biggest icon. Yet the payday Vince promised never came, leaving Sid disillusioned. Sid's frustrations only grew after his championship showdown with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 13. While this match showcased Sid's dominance on wrestling's grandest stage, it further highlighted the broken promises behind the curtain. For Sid, the disrespect wasn't just about money. It was about the betrayal of trust, emblematic of Vince's relentless prioritization of profit over loyalty. Sid was also never inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, a glaring omission many view as Vince McMahon's final act of disrespect, denying Sid this recognition before his passing in 2024. Jesse the Body Ventura, a trailblazing personality who transitioned from the ring to the commentary booth, also fell victim to McMahon's machinations. Ventura's charisma made him a fan favorite, but his tenure with the Federation ended acrimoniously. In 1987, Jesse Ventura waived his rights to royalties on videotape sales, misled by Vince McMahon and Federation officials into believing that only feature performers were eligible. Years later, in 1991, Ventura discovered this was false. Other non-feature performers were receiving royalties. Feeling cheated after this disrespectful falsehood, Ventura sued Vince and won, exposing the deceit at the heart of McMahon's empire. This legal battle underscored Vince's willingness to manipulate and undercut even those who had helped elevate the company. Ventura's victory in court was a rare instance of a wrestler successfully standing up to McMahon. It exposed the systemic inequities within the Federation and highlighted Vince's practice of favoring certain stars while denying others their due. Ventura's resilience and determination to seek justice served as an inspiration to others who felt wronged by the company, even as it deepened the divide between Vince and his performers. Randy Macho Man Savage, one of the most iconic figures in wrestling history, faced disrespect of a different kind. Despite years of headlining events and generating immense revenue for the Federation, Savage eventually found himself sidelined as a color commentator. Savage still had the passion and ability to perform in the ring, proposing a year-long feud with Shawn Michaels, a program that could have been legendary. Vince, however, denied the request, effectively pushing Savage out of the spotlight and belittling him in the process. Feeling undervalued, Savage eventually left for World Championship Wrestling, where he proved he still had plenty to offer. Vince's decision to disrespectfully marginalize Savage was a stark reminder that loyalty and legacy meant little when weighed against McMahon's vision for the company. Savage's departure was a significant loss for the Federation, yet Vince seemed unbothered. By relegating Savage to commentary, Vince sent a clear signal that even the most talented and beloved performers could be disrespectfully discarded if they didn't fit his vision. King Kong Bundy, a towering figure in professional wrestling, cemented his place in history by headlining WrestleMania 2 in a steel cage match against Hulk Hogan for the championship. Bundy's imposing size and ferocious style made him a credible threat to Hogan's reign, and their clash was the centerpiece of a groundbreaking event. WrestleMania 2 showcased Bundy as a main event villain, capable of drawing immense heat from the audience. The steel cage stipulation amplified the drama, solidifying the match as one of the most memorable moments of the 1980s wrestling boom. Yet, despite his contributions, Bundy's legacy has been overshadowed by his exclusion from the company's Hall of Fame. Many attribute this snub to his involvement in a class action lawsuit, accusing the company of neglecting wrestler safety and failing to address long-term injuries. By omitting Bundy, Vince McMahon sent a stark message that those who challenge the company's authority risk being erased from its history. Bundy's absence from the Hall of Fame underscores the darker side of Vince's leadership, where dissent was met with retribution. Despite this, Bundy's impact on wrestling, particularly his iconic WrestleMania 2 match, remains indelible in the minds of fans. To dive deeper into the legendary career of King Kong Bundy and his rise during wrestling's golden era, just click the thumbnail on your screen right now, and I will meet you there momentarily. Thank you for watching.